On Beyond the Gates, if the Duprees think they felt Leslie's wrath at Ted and Nicole's anniversary party, that's going to be nothing compared to what's coming, and there is nothing they can do to stop it. Leslie Thomas rode into town with her daughter Eva like they were in a Western movie, with their sights set on the high and mighty Duprees. Aiming at Ted Richardson and his wife, Nicole, Leslie and Eva assimilated themselves into the day-to-day life in Fairmont Crest. Scheming, they unleashed hell the night of Ted and Nicole's anniversary party, forever fracturing a marriage that has now ended in divorce. But this is just the beginning. Leslie was in for her own bombshell revelations when Peaches came to town and told her that she may have been the only mother Leslie had ever known, but she was not her birth mother. But that shock paled in comparison to the one that was revealed next. Until now, Barbara has been known as the former member of the Articulates who was forced out of the singing group by her sister Anita and shady music producer Dante Green. Peaches told Leslie that Barbara was Leslie's birth mother and confirmed that Barbara was betrayed in the worst way by Anita. As her best friend, Barbara had given Leslie as a newborn to Peaches and asked her to raise her, never come back or contact her, and to never tell the baby where she came from. Barbara then took her own life, but not before sending a letter to Anita Dupree, telling her it was her fault. Now, Leslie stands to inherit a fortune. Instant social standing and wealth are coming for Fairmont Crest's residential WMD. All the anger and animosity that Leslie has for the Duprees will come to a boiling point when Leslie finds out that not only did her mom commit suicide, but it was Anita who drove her to it. Even Eva, who has come to have a relationship with her birth father Ted, could be drawn back into the fray with this critical piece of information. And now, if the inheritance is as large as we imagine it to be, money will be no object in the quest to right wrongs and punish the Duprees. Get ready, because this next week on Beyond the Gates is going to be soapy. Our predictions? Leslie will buy a lovely new abode in exclusive Fairmont Crest and thumb her nose at all the rich, affluent folk who she perceives wronged her. She could move in right next door to Anita and Vernon and blast the Articulates' greatest hits with the windows open. Like many good tales, the so-called villain of the story was created by the hero. Batman created the Joker, Obi-Wan and the Jedi created Darth Vader, and the Duprees created Leslie. There's a saying about chickens coming home to roost, and they certainly are for Anita. Suppose Anita thought that apologizing out loud to the memory of Barbara, or memorializing her at the concert, or even the foundation created in her name, was going to be enough to repent for the sins of her past. In that case, what's coming next will be the pretty karmic shock. Is this going to crumble the Duprees' little empire, or just their reputation? Hey babes, welcome back to Gossip Delight. It's your girl Daisy, and trust me, today's tea is scorching, steamy, and absolutely unmissable. Buckle up, because we're diving straight into the drama. Here are your spoilers for Beyond the Gates. On Tuesday, August 19th, 2025, Naomi has been busy lately with her father's stroke, taking June on as a client, and then discovering the heartwarming connection between June's family, and her own family. Naomi has had to deliver bombshell revelations and huge news, but in Tuesday's episode, Naomi relays some heartbreaking news. At the worst of times, this news will have a profound effect. Martin and Smitty are sharing the same roof at the moment and coexisting again. Will this mean they stay like this? It's anyone's guess, but there's nothing like a bit of stress to keep things exciting in a relationship. In Tuesday's episode, Martin and Smitty deal with an intruder. Do we have a stalker on the prowl of the two-legged or four-legged variety? Martin and Smitty are going to be forced to work together, and hopefully, this only makes them stronger as a couple. Leslie's revelation that she is the daughter of Barbara, the lost Articulate, is going to come as quite the shock to Anita, and it will take all of her husband Vernon's skills to keep her upright during this. Leslie stands to inherit quite the fortune, as well as some knowledge of the events leading up to her birth mother's suicide. In Tuesday's episode, Anita is forced to relive painful memories from her past before grappling with information that will affect her future. Anita is going to have to deal with the living relative of her once sister Barbara. Leslie has always been an enemy of the Duprees, But given the nature of the reveal and the associated memories and details, Leslie will be on the warpath. Anita is going to have to reopen the wounds of the past, but will she share this knowledge with the other two members of the Articulettes? Sharon and Tracy have a right to know, and just maybe they are Anita's best option when it comes to speaking with Leslie. Saying she knows a hustle when she sees one, Leslie accuses Peaches of lying about her being the daughter of an Articulate on behalf of Nicole. But Peaches insists she doesn't know Nicole from the man on the moon, adding that what she does know is that Leslie's about to be very, very rich. Peaches breaks out all kinds of documents, then explains that there's a fund set up by a mystery donor for Barbara's survivors, which Leslie is the last of. "You're about to go from a have-not to having it all, and then some," Peaches tells a still skeptical Leslie. Later, Leslie tells Eva, who thinks her mama has lost her dang mind, until Peaches confirms the whole story. Once Peaches leaves, Eva and her mom try to process the news. Leslie vows that if she really does get a pile of cash, first thing she'll do is get Peaches the best doctor money can buy. Shanice is caught totally off guard when Ashley asks her to be Derek's physical therapist. Shanice promises to push Derek to the limit and beyond, despite any issues the women have had. "This is about getting our boy back on his feet, literally," Shanice insists. Ashley checks on Derek, who thinks he's getting the feeling back in his legs. Unfortunately, he's actually suffering from phantom limb syndrome. Entering Derek's room, Shanice says that she'll be his physical therapist thanks to Ashley. Eventually, Madison comes by to tell Derek that he has a long recovery ahead. When he leaves the hospital, he'll be doing so in a wheelchair, and there's no saying if or when he'll be able to walk again. Still chugging down champagne despite Danny's exit from the divorce party, Nicole urges Vanessa to disassociate herself from all things Joey Armstrong. Vanessa's saved by the proverbial bell when Nicole is summoned to Uptown to meet Madison, who wants to talk about getting emotionally involved in her cases. Knowing Doug's there, Vanessa tags along, only to find Doug meeting with Jacob about bringing down Joey. Madison admits she's in love with Chelsea, and that's messing with her head. Nicole advises that she compartmentalize and figure out how to deal with her emotional connections. Across the room, Vanessa rightly pieces together that Doug was asking Jacob to help him bring down Joey. Jacob exits, after which Vanessa says that her husband needs to keep her happy, or he can kiss the lifestyle he loves so much farewell, especially given that he quit his job. Ted sits at the Uptown bar staring across the room at Nicole. Peaches walks in and, having no idea who he is, strolls in and strikes up a conversation. She suggests he get up off that bar stool and go to her. Every minute you sit there feeling sorry for yourself is a minute you can't get back. Once Peaches and Madison each exit, Ted approaches Nicole's table. She jokes about him having moved on with an older woman. He apologizes for his behavior at the club, and she basically suggests he give up trying for a reunion. Beyond the gates, spoilers reveal that Dana Leslie Thomas's luck may have changed. Doug McBride offers up some advice. Ashley Morgan calls for help. Leslie's life is about to change. Peaches is about to show up to visit Leslie and will reveal the truth that she is dying. Leslie wasn't expecting this at all. However, this isn't all that will be revealed to her that day. Peaches has a huge secret. This secret could completely rewrite Leslie's history. Peaches has a huge secret about Leslie's mother. Fans are already speculating about who Leslie's mother could be. Could rumors that Barbara Mitchell is Leslie's mother actually be true? Could Leslie be about to inherit something from her biological mother? Will Leslie's luck change for better or for worse? Doug will offer Ted Richardson some advice. Ted is having trouble coping with his divorce from Nicole Richardson. Things have not been easy on Ted and needs some emotional support. Will Doug's support be exactly what Ted needs right now to help him move on? That isn't all that Doug has planned. Doug will also share some very important information with Jacob Hawthorne. This information could be serious enough to change Jacob's perspective. Does this have something to do with Joey Armstrong? What else could it be? Ashley will discover that she needs some help with Derek Baldwin being back in the hospital. Ashley will ask Shanice Thornton for some help. What exactly does she believe Shanice can do? Is there any hope for Derek's recovery? How long will he remain in the hospital? Could Derek be on the road to recovery? Or are things going to get worse before they get better? Could Shanice be his only help to survive? Will Shanice stand up and help Ashley trying to get Derek better and back home? Is Shanice the answer to Ashley's prayers? Or is there any hope for Derek to recover? Do you believe Leslie's luck will change and perhaps inherit something very important from her biological mother? Could Leslie end up rich after all this time of struggling? Will Ted get past his emotional issues and move on after his divorce? Will Derek get better and come home where he belongs? And we're not talking Nicole, who recently dubbed herself as the fixer. On Beyond the Gates, Vernon's relationship with Bill, his former son-in-law, is complicated. They recently experienced turmoil when Kenneth, the bigoted busboy, tormented Martin, and the congressman had to reveal what happened to him and Vernon 2 years ago. Bill had to put his fixer hat back on, and Vernon felt the attorney had gone too far when the thug was discovered dead in a park. Vernon and Bill are back in each other's orbit this week. It's one of 3 moments on our radar. No matter how hard Vernon tries, whenever he finds his family in a bad way, he can't help but turn to the family fixer. And for years, that has been Bill Hamilton. The problem is, he is no longer married to Danny, and he's not feeling the love from the Duprees. Not for him, and not for his newbie wife, Naomi's former best friend, Haley. According to this week's teasers, Vernon calls Bill for help. That's only the first part of the scenario. The second part has Bill making demands that need to be met first before he charges back into action. Let's see. His demands may include unconditional respect and immediate acceptance for him and Haley in Fairmont Crest. Bill doesn't appreciate being treated like a second-class citizen, especially at the country club. Will Vernon meet Bill's demands, whatever they are? And does Vernon want to enlist Bill for Dana Leslie Thomas cleanup duty? He does have experience. Now that Ashley has rejected Andre, it's looking like he may work his way back to Danny. We're saying this because this week, Ms. Dupree dishes out some conditions of her own to Andre. So this means the nurse and the photographer are done, and Andre and Danny may give their situationship another try. It'll be interesting to see what Danny's conditions are. So far, they've had a friends with plenty of benefits, but no strings kind of thing going on. We'll see how their connection evolves. Teasers also hint at a character being in serious danger. When an assailant comes out of the shadows to attack their target, this has to be about Chelsea. Thanks to BTG's weekly video preview, we see someone chloroforming Chelsea. The logical assailant is Chelsea's ex, Allison, who's been acting hella creepy and stalkerish for the last few weeks. Their most recent conversation didn't go well. At one point, Allison's tone of voice took a dangerous edge. Did she take Chelsea, or was it someone else? Should we be suspicious of her abusive husband, Craig, or even Chelsea's girlfriend, Madison? Beyond the Gates, weekly predictions talk about Dana Leslie Thomas being Vernon Dupree's kid, and a surprise wedding that's going to shock a lot of people. So, our first prediction: Allison drugs and kidnaps Chelsea Hamilton on the night of her launch party. Spoilers this week tell us that Kat and Chelsea launch party is all set for the purse line. The cousins have an intense heart-to-heart because all their dreams are about to come true. They are squealing about their business. Chelsea is having her big debut, but then the spoilers say someone is attacked. An assailant comes for a target. We know from the promo that the target of this attack is Chelsea. It looks like she is getting chloroformed right before the party. You can see that it's not a big person. It looks like a small person. We cannot forget Allison is an insane stalker. She refuses to accept that Chelsea is with Dr. Madison Montgomery. Allison also refuses to accept that Chelsea has rejected her and that they won't be together. Allison will not go away. She looks like she's just going to do the worst possible thing. Allison is going to attack Chelsea and maybe haul her away. Allison looks like she weighs about 75 pounds, so we'll see. Maybe she's got more upper body strength than we know. I wonder if she's going to get caught doing this, or if she's going to actually get Chelsea out of there and take her somewhere to do something creepy. I am enjoying it being a woman stalker doing stuff like this. I do think it's a nice little twist. Our second prediction: Vernon is Leslie's father, and dead Barbara, as we know, is her mother. Anita Dupree is going to be angry. I doubt she had any inkling of any of this. Spoilers for this week have Eva Thomas asking her mom why the rush. Why is Anita Dupree the first person that Leslie needs to see. Leslie is getting ready. She's got her hair done all night. She's in a classy-looking dress and isn't really answering Eva's questions. Monday spoilers have Leslie finding out things may have changed for her in a big way. Peaches was there telling her last week about Barbara being her mom. She's going to drop the bombshell about who her dad is. Wednesday spoilers have Anita and Leslie facing off. Anita slaps Leslie, and she screams at Vernon to get that woman out of my house. That's the same day Eva drops a bombshell on Thomas Navarro. It's a stunning revelation she makes. Thursday, Vanessa McBride. Has got a new client who is very demanding. She comes to see Vernon, Anita, and Dr. Nicole Dupree Richardson and says, "I have some news, and you're not going to like it." Other spoilers for this week have Vernon needing Bill Hamilton's help, but the lawyer has some terms and conditions before Bill will pitch in. On Friday, Anita and Vernon give Naomi Hamilton Hawthorne and Danny Dupree awful news. The worst-case scenario in all of this, and the only reason Anita would be slapping Leslie and screaming like this, I believe, is because she has found out that Leslie is the daughter of her dear friend Barbara. Barbara has been name-dropped so much, and it wasn't for nothing. I just wonder, did Anita have any idea? If I'm right on this prediction, Vernon had been sleeping with Barbara. The question is, did Vernon know Barbara was pregnant and gave their child away? This is kind of an interesting replay of the Ted Richardson and Leslie plot, because if this is true, then Vernon basically and Ted are in kind of the same situation and the same person. Although it's even more complicated because Eva is a granddaughter of theirs, which will drive Kat crazy. Leslie is an actual Dupree, which would drive them all crazy. So that's what I feel like is happening because it would be the most amazing soapy twist. Our third prediction, June breaks into Bradley Smitty Smith and Martin Richardson's house. On Tuesday, spoilers say there's an intruder in Smitty and Martin's home. Smitty tells Martin, "I think we have a situation." That's the same day Naomi delivers heartbreaking information. I wonder if June has gone missing. The poor woman is mentally ill. All those years of drug abuse addled her brain. I do feel bad for her, but I also think it was crazy that Smitty and Martin let Naomi and Jacob Hawthorne bring June to their house. Why not meet at Orphe June's? Why not meet at the murder park where the body was found? Anywhere but their home. I just suspect that June has broken into the house, maybe to try and see Samantha and Tyrell Richardson again. Maybe she fell off the wagon and went back to drugs and is doing bad things. I don't know. I hope she's not back on the drug path, but she may have had some sort of mental break because she's just not well. She's getting better, but she's not well, let's face it. Our fourth prediction, Andre Richardson goes crawling back to Danny Dupree. Andre told Danny that he was going to go try and make this thing happen with Ashley Morgan. On Wednesday, spoilers have Andre hearing what happened to Derek Baldwin. So, he rushes up to the hospital. Andre is really stunned by how Ashley reacts to him being there and how she talks to him. Andre is insisting to Ashley, "I didn't lie." But Ashley says, "Look, I saw you and Danny all over each other." It looks like Ashley Morgan went to Andre's apartment maybe to say, "Okay, Andre, let's give it a shot." Then she saw his mouth on Danny, and it was like, "Okay, he wants to be with me, but he's back with her." After he said he had a talk with her, the other woman, and they called things off so they were going to be friends. On Thursday, Danny hits Andre with some conditions, according to spoilers. I feel like Andre's like, "Okay, Ashley's not going to be with me." It's complicated. Danny still has these feelings for Bill, and Andre still has these feelings for Ashley. But maybe they're going to try and move forward and see if they forget those people. Maybe they can grow those feelings for each other and move from exciting sex to maybe a whole new relationship. Our fifth and final prediction is going to seem out of left field. You guys know that Derek is at the hospital. He was riding his bike and did something too risky. Now, he may be paralyzed. He had surgery. Things look bad. Ashley knows all this, and she dumped him even though her mom was like, "Oh, you should get with Derek. He's a so steady guy." Ashley told Derek that basically, they were raised to want stability and to stick with the safe things. Then Derek Baldwin went and did this unsafe thing. Here's the big spoiler. An unlikely duo exchanges wedding vows. Bizarre as it seems, I'm just wondering if Ashley is going to feel so bad about what happened to Derek. Maybe Ashley is so over Andre because of the Danny thing that she decides she's going to marry Derek. She will prove to him she loves him and will be there despite this possible paralysis. It's hard for me to imagine an unlikelier duo exchanging wedding vows unless, and I will say this, maybe crazy Allison drugs Chelsea and somehow gets her to marry her. That would be really weird. Plus, Allison is married to that guy. So we'll see how it goes. Those are my predictions for Beyond the Gates. Leslie continues to win on Beyond the Gates instead of paying the price for her misdeeds. Beyond the Gates created a master villain with Dana Leslie Thomas. She and her daughter, Eva, brought drama to the Dupree family in more ways than one. It's time for her to pay for her misdeeds, but Leslie seems set up to keep winning. The current BTG storyline is headed in a direction that will likely give Leslie access to a decent sum of money. She is the daughter of Barbara Mitchell, the articulate woman who never received the credit she was due. However, Leslie has been slinking around town, causing trouble for Ted. Her plan to get Eva into Nicole's orbit worked, and yet she never paid for running Laura off the road and nearly killing her in the hospital. We haven't forgotten, but it seems the people of Fairmont Crest have. There hasn't been any mention of the situation in weeks, after Kat continued to push Jacob to find enough evidence to put Leslie away. Is jail time a lost cause? After learning about Barbara Mitchell being her birth mother, Leslie is ready to use that to her advantage. It looks like Anita and Leslie will go head-to-head, and that's precisely what needs to happen. Barbara Mitchell is just another win for the villain of Fairmont Crest. Up to this point, there have been no real consequences for her. She continues to use Eva to get money from Ted, and it works every time. Despite all of her misdeeds, Leslie continues to rise above the rest. Things appear to be getting better as the weeks go by, while the Richardson family continues to fall apart. Her mission to destroy Ted's life has worked, leaving him in the cold regarding Nicole and their kids. Beyond the Gates spoilers for Tuesday, August 19th, reveal that Anita is forced to relive painful memories from her past before grappling with information that will affect her future. Anita is about to have her entire world turned upside down when a shocking truth comes to light. Not long ago, she was basking in the joy of reuniting with the Articulates, though the moment was bittersweet without Barbara, the group's fourth member, who tragically died by suicide in their younger years. That loss still haunts Anita. Now, she'll be forced to confront those painful memories all over again and face a revelation that could change everything about her future, just not in the way she ever expected. Meanwhile, Naomi is tasked with relaying some heartbreaking news. She was an integral part of reconnecting June with her kids. It was a very emotional time, but they pulled it off. June's only request was that she'd be able to see her kids again. That decision was solely up to Samantha and Tyrell. Have they chosen not to see again? If they do, that's going to hurt. Beyond the Gates spoilers for August 19th also reveal that Martin and Smitty deal with an intruder. Is this a random break-in or something far more personal? Perhaps someone on a mission. It remains to be seen if this is a situation they can handle. So, what do you think Anita will do when she learns Leslie is Barbara's daughter? Share your predictions in the comments below, and be sure to tune in to see how this shocking truth unfolds. If it's true, then watch out Fairmont Crest. Beyond the Gates, fans have been buzzing about Dana Leslie Thomas's mother on social media for a while. Are we about to find out her identity? Because Peaches, Leslie's mother figure, auntie, family friend, / whoever she is, has finally caught up to Dana, and she's about to spill in the Thursday, August 14th episode. One of the main fan theories going around is that Leslie's mother is Barbara, the original Articulate, never got to achieve success with the group she founded. She was pushed out and eventually took her own life. Anita Williams Dupree recently paid homage to her during the Articulates' comeback concert. It was a touching tribute that was emotional and cathartic, and provided some closure for Anita since she had been feeling guilty over her friend's tragic death. Lately, Leslie hasn't just been dodging debt collectors and extorting money from Ted. She has also been ignoring letters regarding an important legal matter concerning an inheritance. Now, everybody knows that Anita has poured money into a trust for Barbara's family, and if her deal with Devin goes through, then that may mean even more money funneling to Barbara's family. Anita wants to include a song on a potential Tracy and Sharon album that would, in essence, reunite all four articulates. Using old demos, they would re-release one of their tracks, but include Barbara's vocals on it. That's why fans have been guessing that Leslie is Barbara's daughter, which would enable her to suddenly be flush with cash, and she would no longer have to use blackmail and payback as a main source of income. Those could just be side hustles. Leslie would be rich in her own right. On X, formerly known as Twitter, Barbara, being Leslie's mother, is a popular guess after tuning into today's episode. Monique says, "Leslie mother is Barbara. I wouldn't be surprised." According to @AstoldBimisha, Leslie is definitely Barbara's daughter. Her being at the reunion concert and knowing every lyric makes perfect sense now. She's going to be even more of a problem when she receives her inheritance. But fans were theorizing about Barbara and Leslie even before today. On August 5th, @Pi17656, Deirdre wrote, "Now I really wish that Leslie to be Barbara's daughter. It would be so soapy and make Leslie more than just the woman Ted cheated with. #TG, Beyond the Gates." And on August 12th, Chandra said, "Seems very likely that Leslie is related to Barbara. Maybe she's her daughter? That way, Leslie's vendetta against the Duprees would make better sense. Guess we'll find out." At Beyond the Gates /BTG. In the Wednesday, August 13th episode, Allison was kind of scary and definitely needy and thirsty. In the Wednesday, August 13th episode of Beyond the Gates, Tyrell and Samantha decided to meet their biological mother, June. It took a while, but Kat and Tomas ended up clicking on the dance floor, but not in the bedroom. Leslie's fighting what could be a lucrative venture if she would just open herself up to it. And Chelsea and Madison had to deal with Allison's antics yet again. Things have cooled a little between Madison and Chelsea since Chelsea took Allison to the hospital. But now, the women are trying to shut down some of the distance that has suddenly developed. Of course, in their quest to get a little closer, Allison popped up to make things difficult. But this time around, she's a little more unhinged than ever. She has trumped up some business opportunity in order to spend some quality time with Chelsea. She expects Chelsea to solve all her problems with her ex, Craig, who has turned abusive, according to Allison. And then she even turns on Chelsea in one breath, warning Madison that she's making a big mistake being with the purse designer. And then in the next breath, she insists that Chelsea is the one for her, and they should be together. Allison's last little warning was ominous. "You don't know what you're missing. Don't worry, you'll find out soon enough." Allison walked off, but she didn't completely leave. She spied Chelsea and Madison, and their too good to be true vibes from afar. What does "you'll find out soon enough" mean? Chelsea needs to turn to her brother-in-law and get that restraining order going. While she's at it, she might want to look into some personal security. Allison's edge is not just unhinged. It's a little dangerous. The woman is intense and unpredictable. And while we still don't know much about Madison and have some doubts about whether she's on the up and up, the priority here is to take care of Allison. What did you think of the episode? How much do we need to worry about Chelsea? Were you surprised that Kat was still feeling the ick with Tomas after having sex with him a second time? And are you happy that Tyrell and Samantha agreed to meet June? Let us know in the comments. Bill is surprised to find Haley having morning coffee with Sammy, who supposedly swung by to return her phone and purse. Once he leaves, Haley tells Bill she's not doing so great, leading him to literally sweep his wife off her feet and take her to bed to rest. It certainly seems that way when she finds him on the couch, as opposed to in her bed, contemplating his future. He's starting to think he wants to settle down with someone, and they both know that was never going to be her. He continues to offer her comforting words, and she says she'll miss that even more than the mind-blowing sex. Danny wishes Andre and Ashley well, before admitting she doesn't really mean it. "But my parents taught me manners." She then heads off to talk to Bill and Haley. With Haley resting upstairs, Danny apologizes to her ex, taking full responsibility for what happened, but he insists an all-too-familiar argument with you wasn't likely to be the cause. In a beautiful, relatable, and deeply emotional scene, Bill admits that he saw this baby as a second chance to make up for the mistakes he made, mostly involving not being around as much as he should have, with Chelsea and Naomi. He begins softly crying, and when Danny goes to comfort him, Haley walks in behind them. Danny apologizes to Haley, sincerely, for everything that went down, including having accused her of faking the pregnancy. Haley says Danny's timing is perfect because she's just too damn tired to read her for filth. Once she leaves, Haley admits to Bill that she's not sure she can go through this again. But Bill remains confident this could still happen for them. So much so, he's going to put another $100K in the college account meant for their child's college education. Danny shows up at the family mansion to talk with Nicole. Dubbing herself pathetic, Danny asks how her sister could possibly love her. They have a long conversation, during which Danny admits she still loves Bill, and that they bubbled to the surface when he opened up to her about the loss of the baby. Jan and her daughter have another discussion about Ashley's love life, with the younger woman insisting that she and Andre aren't going to be a thing. In fact, Ash plans to depend on herself instead of a man, which thrills Jan. But moments later, Andre strolls into the hospital presenting Ashley with a lovely gift, one of his photos, to remind her of their night in Paris, and saying he broke up with the other woman he was seeing. Rather than be thrilled, Ashley, "Oh girl, do we need to slap some sense into you?" goes into sad sack mode and says they can't be together. "So you want to stop before we've even started?" he asks before walking away, clearly upset and disappointed. Anita catches Vernon trying to sneak out of the house early. He claims to have meetings on the docket, but when Nicole arrives, Anita admits she thinks there's something more going on. Conversation turns to the concert and that Anita has finally been able to forgive herself for what happened with Barbara years earlier. Later, Vernon meets his wife at the country club so they can get together with a special visitor, longtime friend Devin Hamilton. The Genoa City resident is there to make Anita a mind-blowing offer. While Anita says she doesn't have the bandwidth to create an album, even with a co-producer credit, she suggests he sign Tracy and Sharon to a deal. Better still, she comes up with the idea of releasing a classic Articulette song, complete with Barbara's vocals lifted from an old demo. They hug it out, after which he crosses paths with Danny. The look she gives as he walks away leaves us wondering if they might have shared a past, or be heading for a future. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.